Chapter 1, I'm going to cover 3 simple objectives to focus on as you read through Chapter 1. Number 1, recognize the benefits of public speaking. There are many. Number 2, recognize the dynamic process of communication. And thirdly, identify the very important role of ethics in communication. So let's hit our first objective. Why do we study public speaking? Well, there are a lot of benefits to us. In 2019, the NACE was asked, what is the number one skill employers seek? And just to back up a step, the NACE is the National Association of Colleges and Employers. So this is the number one thing that NACE is looking for. Answer, for people to learn to speak clearly, confidently, and precisely. And that is why you are here. That is the primary objective of this course. And so we want to take this idea over here on our right and remember there is so much to gain by learning to speak and speak well. So let's take that a step further. The benefits of public speaking. Number 1 is truly a personal benefit. Self-discovery and communication skills. Self-discovery, that is for you personally. When you are called to speak on something, it really refines, it sharpens what matters to you, what is most important. So being tasked to speak really clarifies your own interests and most importantly, your values. What is important to you? And then secondly, a huge personal benefit is increased communication skills. Every time we are called to speak, whether that's raising your hand in class, whether that's standing up in front of a conference room, you overcome social anxiety. You practice public speaking. And the more we do it, we learn to speak with power and conviction, and most importantly, purpose. So there are a lot of huge personal benefits to a course like this. Second benefit then is social. Our entire nation is built on the concept of citizenship, and that is freedom of speech. And in order to exercise the freedom of speech, we need to speak, right? It is the basis of our society. So a huge social factor is participating in citizenship. But secondly then is the like factor. When we share, when we speak, we engage with others. And when we engage with others, we connect with them. We put them at ease. We attract them. So exercising public speaking increases your like factor. Like attracts like. And then the third and final benefit of public speaking is that of cultural benefits. When we are called to speak, we need to prepare. And when we prepare for the listener, for our audience. So it expands our hearts and our mind. One of the primary focuses of public speaking is to develop an quote, other orientation, and the other is indeed the listener. We are focusing not on ourselves, but how the message is going to impact the listener. So that inherently increases that sensitivity, that empathy, and the interest in the needs of others. And of course, then that helps grow as a community, as a global, diverse community, be that in our own community, be that in our country, be that across the globe. So that's our first objective, the 3 benefits of public speaking: personal, social, and cultural. The second objective then is to look at communication as a dynamic process. Okay, dynamic, that means it is not static, it is moving. What you see before you are the 7 elements of communication. These are the 7 things that are happening at all times in any given communication situation. So let's break this down. At the top of the chart, we have the speaker. That is you, and that is ultimately the success of the speech. What you put out there, how you speak, is how the audience is going to react. So the message value comes from that of the speaker. How competent are you? How likable are you? How trustworthy are you in the message you are putting out there? The second element then is the audience. Okay, that is your focus as the speaker. Again, we want that other orientation. So we take an audience-centered approach and we cater that message to the listener. Okay, so our first 2 elements. We have the speaker, that is you, and then we have the audience, that is your focus. We always want to figure out what is most important to our listener. There's an acronym, WIFM, what's in it for me? That's what we need to figure out as a speaker, and that's what we speak to. Why does your topic matter to the listener? What do they stand to learn? What do they stand to gain? How will your message help them? That is your central focus, and because that's what the audience cares about. Okay, so we have speaker, audience. Our third element then is the message, okay? The message is everything you put out there, and that includes both your words, your verbals, as well as your nonverbals, what the audience sees of you. Are you moving your hands? Are you engaging? Are you leaning in? Even the nonverbals within your verbals. Do you show inflection, energy, passion? All this comprises the message. And then lastly, the other piece of the message is any visuals you might use. So right now you are looking at a PowerPoint. That comprises part of my message. Then we have the channel. That's the medium you use. Are you face-to-face with an audience? Are you online? Are you in a webinar? How are you distributing the information? Next, we have interference. That's anything that may disrupt the message. So if you have somebody tapping you on your shoulder, or if you're looking at your phone responding to a text message right now, or you're gazing out the window and see a squirrel leaping from tree to tree, all of those things make up interference. Anything that may disrupt or distract. And then lastly, actually second to last, we have the setting. That is the physical space of the classroom, or the physical space in which you are taking in this message right now. And now, truly lastly, we have feedback. And those are the cues you're receiving from your audience, okay? This is how we gauge our effectiveness and we monitor it. Is the audience nodding? Are they leaning in? Are they smiling? These are little nonverbal pats on the back for you to tell you that you're engaging them. And if you see the opposite, if you see your audience distracted, snoozing, glancing around the room, we can adjust and accommodate. So you'll see that loop feeds back to the speaker. We take in, we put out, we take in, we put out, and we adjust, okay? So communication is very dynamic, and it's comprised of the 7 elements you see before you. So the ultimate goal of this 7-element dynamic process is to create identification with your audience. If you have somebody you're close to, someone you just click with, odds are you identify with them. You understand them. You see the world with a similar lens. That's the ultimate goal as a speaker, is to create identification. We want to create a oneness with our audience. We want to create purpose, and we want the listeners to be able to identify with what we are speaking and vice versa, identify with them. Okay, so our third and final objective out of chapter 1 is to understand the critical role of ethics in communication. Ethics in communication. Just as if you were writing a paper and you cite your sources, we need to hold that same level of responsibility to ourselves as we speak. And the term that will come back again and again throughout this course is that of responsible knowledge. We need to be informed, we need to be knowledgeable, and we need to be responsible with that knowledge. So let's break that down. The 5 key pieces of responsible knowledge. Number 1, know your main points of concern. Make sure you have done your research. Make sure you understand the central concepts surrounding your topic. You're well researched. Second then, know and understand what the experts are saying. Supporting that same first comment, know the main points, but also know who is saying what experts are supporting your message. Thirdly then, respect different viewpoints. Be sure to understand, pull in, and even address varying viewpoints. That speaks to a well-rounded, well-researched speaker. Acknowledge and respect different viewpoints. Fourth, be aware of recent events. Have there been recent discoveries or findings or current events surrounding your topic? Make sure that you're up to date. So if you researched a speech a year ago and then present the speech again now, it's important that you update your knowledge and make sure it's current and aware of what's going on recently with it. And then lastly, understand your impact. Understand that the ultimate goal of speaking is to create that oneness, that identification, but know that that has an impact. What you say matters. If you influence someone, if you educate, you have made an impact. And we need to do that carefully and with responsibility. Okay, so the three topics, the three learning objectives we tackled out of chapter 1. Number 1 was recognize the benefits of public speaking. And that was personal benefits, social benefits, and cultural benefits. Our second objective then was to recognize the speech is extremely dynamic. That's where we covered those 7 elements of communication. And then lastly, we tackled the role of ethics in communication. Ultimately, that rests on acquiring responsible knowledge. Thank you.